All of you, good morning. My name is K. Damod Reddy, lecturer in chemistry, GDC Women Vanaparthi. All of you, welcome. Today, topic is electrochemistry. So, electrochemistry is the study of the interconversion of electrical energy and chemical energy. That means electrical energy conversion into chemical energy. So, chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. So electrochemistry is the study of the chemical reactions which take place at the interface of an electrode, usually solids, metal or semiconductors, and an ionic conductors. The electrolyte. Electrochemistry deals with the interaction between electrical energy and chemical energy. So we can observe two types of cells: electrolytic cells, electrochemical cell. Electrolytic cell, nothing but this device can convert electrical energy into chemical energy. So electrochemical cell, this device can convert chemical energy into electrical energy. So we can know what are the conductors, insulators. So this classification is based on their ability of allow electrical current to pass through them. So conductors are those substances which allow electrical current to pass through them. What are the examples for conductors? Metals, alloys, graphite, ionic compounds, infused or dissolved state. What are the insulators? So insulators are those substances which do not allow electric current to pass through them. Example: glass, wood, paper, organic compounds. So substances which do not allow electrical current to pass in insulators. So substances which allow electric current to pass conductors. So types of conductors: metallic conductors. So all metals and alloys under this metallic conductors. Electrolytic conductors: NaCl, copper sulfate, zinc sulfate, so silver nitrate. These are the electrolytic conductors. Semiconductors. Semiconductors are the germanium doped with argon or phosphorus. So these are the semiconductors. So superconductors. So mercury at 4 kelvins, it acts as a superconductor. So what are the electrolytes? What are the electrolytes? So electrolytes are substances which conduct electric current through them, either in the molten state or in the dissolved state. So in NaCl, H2SO4, potassium hydroxide, HNO3, etc. So acids, salts, bases are acting are electrolytes. So what are the non-electrolytes? So non-electrolytes are substances which do not conduct electricity in the fused state or in the dissolved state. So sugar, urea, alcohol, etc. So what is the electrolysis? So electrolysis is nothing but substances whose solution in water conducts electric current. Conduction takes place by the movement of ions. Examples: salts, acids, and bases. So types of electrolytes: strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. So what are the strong electrolytes? Strong electrolytes are highly ionized in the solution. Examples are strong bases, strong acids. Strong acids are HCl, H2SO4, HNO3. Strong bases, NaOH and potassium hydroxide, etc. So weak electrolytes, what are the weak electrolytes? So weak electrolytes are only feebly ionized in the solution. So examples are carbonic acid, H2CO3, acetic acid, CH3COOH, NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide. So types of electrolytes, strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. Strong electrolytes are highly ionized. These are the weak electrolytes are the feebly or less ionized in the solution. So all strong acids bases under strong electrolytes. Tarvata weak electrolytes, weak acids and bases under weak electrolytes. So what is the differences between metallic conductors, electrolytic conductors? In metallic conductors, flow of electricity takes place without the decomposition of the substances. In electrolytic conductors, flow of electricity takes place accompanied by decomposition of the substance. In metallic conductors, flow of electricity is due to flow of electrons, whereas in the electrolytic conductors, flow of electricity is due to flow of ions. So movement of ions are possible in electrolytic conductors. Whenever the electricity passed in electrolytic solution, so electrolyte ionized to form ions, the mobility of ion is due to the flow of electricity. The conductance decreases with increasing of temperature in metallic conductors. In electrolytic conductors, the conductance increases with increase of temperature. So metallic conductors, what happened? Conductance decreases with increasing temperature. Here electrolytic conductors, conductance increases with the increase of temperature. This is because so fully ionized. So movement of ions is more whenever the increase the temperature. So the resistance of offered by metal is due to vibrating kernels. Electrolytic conductors, the resistance offered by metals is due to interionic attraction, viscosity of solvent, etc. So these are the main differences between metallic and electrolytic conductors. So simply we can see here, due to movement of electrons in metallic conductors, electrolytic conductor due to movement of ions. So whereas in metallic conductors no chemical changes takes place, electrolytic conductors electrolysis takes place. So here metallic conductors no transfer of matters, whereas in electrolytic conductors transfer of matter in the form of ions. So ions mobility electrolytic conductors lo untadi kabatti matter manaku change aitadi, transfer of matter in the form of ions. So conductance of metals decreases with increase of temperature. So here conductance of metals increases with increase of temperature. What are the requirements for electrolysis? What are the requirements for electrolysis? So electrolyte solution, battery and electrode. Electrodes nothing but cathode and anode required for electrolysis. So requirement of electrolysis, one is electrolyte solution. So another one battery. So power supply through the battery, and electrodes. Electrodes are the anode and cathode. So anode is the positive electrode, cathode is the negative electrode. So two electrodes. Electrode is an electrical conductor which provides the physical interference between the electrical current providing the energy and the electrolyte. What is the electrolysis? What is the electrolysis? So electrolysis is used to separate a metal from its compound. So this is the electrolysis, decomposition of an electrolyte by passing of electric current. So in electrochemistry, the terms are resistance. What is the resistance? So resistance refers to the opposite to the flow of current. So resistance denoted by R. So R is proportional of L by A. So L nothing but length of the conductor. So R is the resistance. Cross section is A for conductor. So therefore R is equal to rho into L by A, where rho is called resistivity or a specific resistance. The cross section is denoted by A, length of the conductor is L. So the resistance R is directly proportional to the length of conductor and inversely proportional to the cross section of conductor. So R is equal to rho into L by A, where rho is called resistivity or specific resistance. So conductance, what is the conductance? So the reciprocal of the resistance is called as the conductors. It is denoted by C. Resistance denoted by R. Conductance denoted by C. So conductance nothing but what is the definition of conductance? The reciprocal of the resistance is called conductance. So what is the units for resistance? Resistance unit is ohms. So unit of conductance is ohm inverse. So R is ohms. Conductance nothing but C is equal to 1 by R. So therefore units for conductance is ohm inverse or 1 by ohm. It is also mohoms. So example are pure water, urea, sugar for insulators. Insulator do not allow the electric current to pass through them. So conductors pass the electric current to them. Specific conductivity. It is denoted by kappa K. Specific conductance is nothing but electrolyte solution is a measure of its ability to conduct electricity. The specific conductance kappa K is equal to 1 by rho. So specific conductance kappa K is equal to 1 by rho. What are the units of specific conductance? So ohm inverse, centimeter inverse. These are the units for specific conductance. Units for resistance is ohm inverse, ohms. Conductance C is equal to units C is equal to 1 by ohm or ohm inverse. Specific conductance units are ohm inverse, centimeter inverse. Ohm inverse, centimeter inverse. So what is the equivalent conductance? It is defined as the conducting power of all the ions produced by 1 gram of an electrolyte in the given solution. So equivalent conductance is represented by lambda. So what is the mathematical equation for equivalent conductance? Lambda is equal to K into V. So kappa K is equal to specific conduction of the solution. V is the volume in cc containing 1 gram equivalent of the electrolyte. If N is the normality, so lambda is equal to K into 1000 by normality. So molar conductance, it is the conductance of the solution containing 1 mole of electrolyte in VCC of solution. It is represented as mu. Mu is equal to K into V. So kappa K into 1000 by M. So therefore mu is equal to K into 1000 by M. M for normality, sorry, molarity of the solution. So V is equal to volume solution in Cc, mu is equal to molar conductance, and K is equal to specific conductance. M for molarity of the solution. What is the cell constant? Cell constant is the ratio between distance between electrodes and the area of cross section of each electrode. Therefore, cell constant is equal to X is equal to L by A. So cell constant denoted by X is equal to L by A. The ratio between L by A is called as the cell constant. L for distance between the electrodes, two electrodes. Next to A, nothing but area of cross section. So effect of dilution on conductivity. Specific conductivity decreases on dilution. Equivalent or molar conductance both increases with dilution and reaches a maximum value. The conductance of all electrolytes increases with the temperature. So now we are going to discuss important one, Kohlrausch law. So sum of individual contribution of the anion and the cation of the electrolyte is equal to molar conductivity of an electrolyte. So molar conductivity of an electrolyte is equal to the sum of the individual contributions of the anions and cations of electrolyte. Whereas lambda E and lambda C are known as ionic conductance of anion and cation at infinity dilution respectively. So conductance of acetic acid in infinity dilutions is obtained by lambda infinity of acetic acid is equal to lambda acetate ion plus lambda H plus ion. According to Kohlrausch law, lambda infinity of sodium acetate, you can write that. So sodium acetate is ionized acetate ion and sodium ion. The Kohlrausch law is lambda infinity of sodium acetate is equal to lambda acetate ion lambda Na plus ion. What is the lambda infinity of HCl? So you can write the according to Kohlrausch law lambda H plus and plus lambda Cl minus. So lambda infinity of NaCl, lambda Na plus, lambda Cl minus, lambda barium chloride. So like this, aluminum chloride, aluminum sulfate. You can write these for Kohlrausch law. These are the examples for Kohlrausch law. So applications of Kohlrausch law. So we can find out the weak acid lambda infinity value from Kohlrausch law. So this method produce lambda infinity for weak electrolytes. Weak electrolytes nothing but acetic acid, ammonium hydroxide, easily calculated from this Kohlrausch law. So for example, you can calculate the lambda infinity of acetic acid from lambda sodium acetate, lambda infinity of sodium acetate plus lambda infinity of HCl, lambda infinity of minus of lambda infinity of NaCl. These are equal to lambda infinity of acetic acid. So lambda infinity of sodium acetate nothing but lambda acetate ion lambda Na plus, lambda infinity of HCl nothing but lambda H plus lambda Cl minus, NaCl nothing but lambda Na plus lambda Cl minus. So minus to vidadiste appudu emaytundante minus lambda infinity of Na plus minus lambda in Cl minus. So these are the cancelled. Remaining are lambda acetate ion plus lambda H plus ion. These are equal to lambda infinity of acetic acid. So applications of Kohlrausch law. So we can measure or calculated lambda infinity of weak electrolytes like acetic acid, like ammonium hydroxide. If we can calculate the lambda infinity of ammonium hydroxide by Kohlrausch law. So from lambda infinity of ammonium hydroxide nothing but lambda NH4 plus lambda OH minus. So molar conductance of sodium acetate what is the degree of dissociation? It is used for weak electrolytes. Degree of dissociation is denoted by alpha, lambda V by lambda infinity, molar conductance by, so what is the degree of dissociation? It is denoted by alpha, the ratio between molar conductance of electrolyte and molar conductance at infinity dilutions. So lambda infinity represents the equivalent conductance at infinity dilutions. Lambda V represents the equivalent conductance or molar conductance at dilution V. So now Ostwald dilution law, dissociation constant of weak electrolytes. Consider an aqueous solution of weak binary electrolyte AB of concentration C moles. So, and the degree of dissociation is alpha. So, AB aqueous solution. So, in the solution, this electrolyte ionized A plus and B minus. Initial concentration for AB is C. So initial concentration A plus B minus are not formed. The concentrations are 0. At equilibrium, so AB concentration is C into 1 minus alpha. A plus concentration is C alpha. B minus concentration is C alpha. At equilibrium, we can write the K is equal to A plus B minus by AB concentrations. So A plus concentration is C alpha, B minus concentration is C alpha, AB concentration is C into 1 minus alpha. So the dissociation constant can be expressed as Kc. So here C cancelled, so C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. For weak electrolytes, alpha is very small, hence 1 minus alpha is equal to 1. Therefore, the equation is K is equal to C alpha square. What is the alpha? Dissociation, degree of dissociation, alpha is equal to under root of K by C. So, Ostwald dilution law, dissociation constant of a weak electrolyte. Consider an aqueous solution of a weak binary electrolyte, that is AB, of concentration C, and degree of dissociation is alpha. So AB electrolyte in aqueous solution, it is ionized A plus B minus in the solution. For initial concentration AB is C. For initial concentration, products are not formed, ions are not formed. That's why the concentration is 0. At equilibrium, so concentration decreases from AB, concentration increases for A plus B minus. That's why remaining concentration is C into 1 minus alpha, C alpha and C alpha. So at equilibrium, the concentrations are C into 1 minus alpha, C alpha, C alpha. At equilibrium constant K is equal to A plus B minus by AB concentrations. So now A plus concentration is C equal to C alpha, B plus concentration is B minus concentration is C alpha. AB concentration is C into 1 minus alpha. Therefore, the dissociation constant can be expressed as, so Kc is equal to C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. The electrolyte is weak electrolyte, and alpha is 1 minus alpha is equal to 1. So therefore, K is equal to C alpha square. So alpha is nothing but alpha is equal to under root of K by C. This is the degree of dissociation of electrolyte. So this theory only applicable for weak electrolytes, not strong electrolytes. What is the limitations of Ostwald dilution law? This is applicable for weak electrolytes, not for strong electrolytes. Why? So strong electrolytes dissociation in all concentrations. So not equilibrium established between ions and the electrolyte solution. So whenever the equilibrium is not established, we cannot write the equilibrium constant. That's why in Ostwald dilution law, the application of Ostwald dilution law, it is applicable for only weak electrolyte, not the strong electrolyte. So we are discussing about the next class Debye-Uckel theory for strong electrolytes. Debye-Uckel theory for strong electrolytes. Okay, thank you one and all.